Welcome to the FunkMMA Strength and Conditioning Podcast, hosted by Funk Roberts, former professional athlete, certified MMA conditioning coach, and master of metabolic training. Funk is one of the leading conditioning coaches in the martial arts industry today and has a following of over 500,000 combat athletes around the world. His workouts and training principles have been used by many professional fighters, including fighters in the UFC, Bellator, and ONE FC, as well as world Muay Thai champions, Roy kickboxers, and ADCC BJJ champions. Join me in welcoming your host, Funk Roberts.
Hey guys, it's Funk Roberts here, and welcome to the FunkMMA Strength and Conditioning Podcast, where we talk about strength and conditioning, but that's not all. We talk about nutrition, supplements, training, prehab, rehab, life, and everything that'll get you into the best fight shape, for you to be the best athlete, and of course, for you to be the best person. And today, I'm excited because we have our very first guest ever on the podcast. This guy's not only a fighter, he's not only a coach and trainer, he's not only a very successful entrepreneur, but he is the leader of a nation. The leader of a nation. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Sean Fagan, a.k.a. the Muay Thai Guy. What's up, Sean?
What's up, Funk? Honored to be the first and only guest on your podcast so far, man. Thank you so much.
No problem, but, I really wanted to reach out to you because we've known each other for years. We haven't met actually face to face, but we've known each other for so many years and helped each other with our businesses. And I've seen you grow from literally you packing up to go to Thailand to literally leader of a nation. Like, you lead the Lac Muay Nation, has about you probably have over 1 million followers, combined with Facebook.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's been quite a journey so far, and like the whole Lac Muay Nation thing has really put people together and like created this community that it just really feeds into each other, and we're able to really just keep each other motivated, keep each other educated, and teaching techniques and training tips and just sharing our experiences with everyone. So it's been like you said, in the beginning I had no idea what I was doing or where I was going, but to see where it's kind of ended up has been I've been very fortunate, and I'm lucky to be able to go to Thailand and host these camps and just meet people face to face that I also get to talk with online.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love that. I mean, it's all about meeting the people that you're helping, But how did this journey begin? Like, how do you go from never punching to leader of a Muay Thai nation? Like, how did this all start for you? Even like your Muay Thai career or even fighting in general martial arts. When did this all start?
So I'll do the more condensed version because it's kind of a long story. But essentially, growing up, I was an athlete. I played hockey, baseball, all the sports growing up. And in hockey, I tended to always find myself in the middle of scraps and trying to get in fights and stuff. And one day, my mom, after a game where I probably spent half the game in the penalty box because I was just fighting and hitting people, she was just like, you should just join a boxing gym instead of trying to fight people on the ice. And she was saying it very jokingly, just like as a comment. But I took it to heart, and I was like, shit, that's not a bad idea at all. And so I ended up joining the boxing gym when I was about 16 or 17. I didn't do it too seriously at that moment because, honestly, I was kind of scared of fighting. I was not I just didn't like confrontation. I hated the idea of getting punched in the face, but I saw it as a way to, A, stay competitive after high school, and B, just to kind of challenge myself and face my fears of fighting. So boxing led to MMA, and after college, I ended up flunking out of college. After I went to community college, I really didn't have any kind of path or anywhere to go, and I was just playing baseball essentially. And I got some scholarship offers to play baseball, but I ended up failing out just because I wasn't into school, and so I was kind of just like lost. I didn't know what to do or where to go. So that's when UFC was getting real big, and I started watching it on TV. And I was like, that'd be kind of cool to tell my friends if I was a cage fighter, So I ended up joining an MMA gym, and I just really took a liking to the Muay Thai. And I did the grappling, I did the jiu-jitsu, wrestling, all that kind of stuff, but it was just not really as appealing or fun to me. And so one thing led to another. I ended up I play online poker. And and I ended up winning a big online poker tournament for like 15 grand when I had like no money. I wasn't doing anything, so this was like a lot of money to me. And my lease was just ending with my roommates, and so everything kind of manifested to this point where it's like I won all this money. I have no job. I have no girlfriend. I have nothing right now. So I ended up just going to Thailand for an extended stay, just to train and fight. And I had my first 3 fights there. And after that, I kind of just became obsessed with it. And I just decided to dedicate my life to it and do my best to make it a living of one way or another.
How did you're from New York, right? All this is happening in New York?
Yes.
So I'm going to go back to the online poker, because I used to play poker as well, online poker as well. Probably not to the level that you did, but like, were you also like did you play poker live? Like, did you go to underground poker spots with like, shady people and, like, were you that guy too?
I played a little bit of that, not as much. I would go to the casinos every now and then, drive down to like Foxwoods or go upstate where there's a casino as well. But most of the time, the online was just so easy because like after a long day, I'm a weed smoker too, and you can't really smoke weed and play poker in person at casinos and stuff, right? So I like to be at home and kind of relax and unwind after a long day of training, and then just be on the computer and play poker. And I could play poker for hours.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit easier at home because I can cook some food and watch TV in the background. So it was just more in line with what I was trying to do.
So you go to Thailand and you fight, and what drove you to Thailand? Like, why did you even say Thailand?
Well, I was reading a book at the time called A Fighter's Heart by Sam Sheridan, and his whole story was about how he went to Thailand before it was like the cool thing to do, and there was just some type of romanticism to it that made me really intrigued about, like, wow, Thailand seems like a really interesting place, and I wanted to fight and I wanted to travel, and so it just kind of seemed like Thailand was one of the best places to do that. And it's a part of the world that honestly kind of scared me at the time because, I mean, Southeast Asia is just a different world than Europe or the West, So I really wanted to step out of my comfort zone. I felt like I wasn't doing much growing back home, and so it just kind of checked all the boxes. I liked Muay Thai more than anything out of my MMA training. I wanted to really push myself past my comfort zone, so going to a country where I didn't speak the language kind of ticked that box as well. Mm-hmm. And then it just, the tropical location also helped, because I'm a warm weather guy, and so being able to go there and just run outside and train in open air studios was really appealing too. So, but yeah, I would say the book A Fighter's Heart by Sam Sheridan was a key factor in that, because it gave me the idea. Otherwise, I wouldn't have really thought of that as an option. I probably would have bought like a nice car or a motorcycle instead of actually expending it on travel and experience, which I'm grateful that I did. So yeah, awesome. If you haven't read that book, I would definitely recommend it. It's a good one.
Yeah, definitely. I got my cat up on here doing some crazy stuff. It's funny you say Thailand and stepping outside of your comfort zone, because that's kind of like what I did too. It's kind of like, I was like, okay, I was training in Muay Thai, and then I decided that, I want to go somewhere to train, and I want to train with the best, and who better, to train with than, the Thais, and just like you, Thailand kind of intrigued me. It was a little different. It wasn't, in quotes, safe for me to go, because I travel around the world playing beach volleyball. So, but Southeast Asia was a place I hadn't gone. So you get to Thailand, you start training. What was the training like when you got there? Like, how did it affect you when you first got there?
Well, my body was definitely not used to training twice a day. Even if I thought I was training twice a day back at home, the type of training in Thailand is just a little bit more grueling in regards to the heat. It's very hot out there, so training outside, you'll sweat buckets, so you need to make sure you're staying hydrated. And then also the amount of running you do is a little bit different than you do back home. So the shin splints and just my feet hurting all the time was something I wasn't used to. And then just the amount of pad work you do every single day, because you do pad work for morning and for afternoon training, and usually back at home you get pads like 2 or 3 times a week, let alone a day, you know. So it was definitely a little bit of a shock to the system. And before I went to Thailand the first time, I was heavy into lifting weights, so I was I was like a strong man. I was able to like bench over 300 pounds and do all this stuff, but I really couldn't throw a punch. And so I wanted to learn how to throw a punch. And once I got to Thailand, they kind of taught me the fundamentals, the basics, and I just kind of built up from there. But I definitely was a little bit too gung-ho at first, and you know how it is. You get excited. You go to Thailand. Oh, I'm going to train as hard as I can every single day. And so I hit a couple plateaus where I felt like I was overtraining. You get that like that state of depression, and just your whole body kind of shuts down. You're like, what the hell am I doing? But after like a day or two of just sleeping all day, you're usually right back at it. So yeah, it was a roller coaster ride, that's for sure. And it was a lot to get adjusted to. But now that I've been there so many times, I kind of know what to expect.
How many times have you been there?
I've been there 7 times. I'm going my 8th time in a couple months.
How many years ago was this when you first went?
I think it was 2011.
Okay,
yeah, like the January 2011, and that was like the pivot point of my life. Like the trip to Thailand was what kind of just changed the whole direction of my life, and gave me a sense of purpose to actually like wake up in the morning and have something to do and something to work towards. So yeah, it's crazy, because I talk about this with my friends sometimes who aren't into Muay Thai, and I just talk about how when I played poker, how that one tournament I must have made thousands of individual decisions that all led to me winning that tournament. And just all the minor decisions before that and after that led me go to Thailand. It's just insane to think about how everything kind of just fell into place to make it happen.
Right.
So I'm not a religious person at all, but it just kind of seemed like it was put there out in front of me, and one thing led to another. And so I just kind of took it as a sign that this was something I needed to do. And I think one of the biggest decisions I made was just that, making a decision. Totally. And once I made the decision that like, yo, Muay Thai is going to be my life, everything else kind of took a back seat. I wasn't as distracted easily. And the fact that was my priority kind of just made it easier, just focusing on that and not being distracted by too much of a social life or trying out other things. I just decided to just go all in. And that's been a huge factor in my success, I believe.
That's incredible, because that's exactly what needs to happen. Once you're focused on something and you're passionate about it, and you love it, then you see all the other opportunities that surround it. You know what I mean? That as you grind through it, there's all these other opportunities that start to happen. And just like in poker, because you were so focused during that tournament, and you had that end goal to win the tournament, you had to make these decisions and all these opportunities, and you were like hyper aware of everything that's happening. It's the same thing with, when you make that decision. For you, it was Muay Thai. There's all these opportunities that start coming up. Like, oh yeah, this. Oh, look at this. Oh, I can go here, or I can trade with this person. Oh, there's a fight coming up. Like, all those things start to open up, and it just allows you to grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's been wild, man. And just the fact that I've been able to grow so much through Muay Thai has kind of put a stamp on the fact that it is what I love to do. It is my passion, because it although there's, like, as you know, in fight sports, there's a lot of ups and downs. Like, you can't win all the fights, and losses can really demoralize you and make you think twice about like who you are and like what you're doing. But I'm grateful for all my losses. I'm even more grateful for all my wins. But yeah, it's really taught me a lot about myself that I feel like I would have never known if I didn't really step in the ring and push myself past my normal limitations. So although I've had a lot of setbacks and injuries and not too many losses, but I've had enough to make it like hurt. All those things have been learning experiences that have really taught me a lot about myself. So yeah, it's been an enlightening journey, to say the least.
Hey, when you go to Thailand, where do you go? You go Bangkok specifically, Chiang Mai? Like, where do you go?
My favorite place in the world is Koh Phangan Island. Okay. That's where I try to go, but it doesn't always work out that way. Bangkok has really good training and really good fight opportunities. So Bangkok is good in that sense. To be honest, I'm not a big Bangkok fan. I don't like I don't like city life anyway, and then
Right.
Bangkok city life is like next level shit,
Crazy.
and the
Crazy.
traffic and it's just a little dirty and polluted, and so it's just like not my cup of tea. But that being said, I'm not distracted at all when I'm in Bangkok. All I'm doing is training, so
Right.
that's one pro to it, and I'm able to go to see fights at Lumpini and the top stadiums. But I have been to Chiang Mai. I've been all over Thailand, but my favorite place is Koh Phangan. I like to train at Diamond Muay Thai down there, and they're trying to build a fight team sometime soon. So I actually might be moving to Thailand in 2018 and trying to pursue this a little bit more full time.
When you say fight team, a fight team to fight in Thailand or a fight team to fight like in China and all over the place?
Yeah, all over the place. So Diamond was they're initially just like a traincation gym where a lot of beginners come and who are on the island. The island's known as the Full Moon Party Island,
Yes.
but it's really it's not like that at all. People just have this like taboo to it where like, oh, if you go to that island, you're a party hippie guy. And I'm not a partier at all. I haven't even been to a full moon party. I've been to the island like 4 or 5 times. But the training is great. They have some of the – it's crazy because like they have some of the best trainers from legendary Muay Thai families, but no one who trains there knows this. And so they're getting trained by like these legendary coaches and trainers, and they have no idea who they're learning from, and it just goes completely over their head. Meanwhile, I go there and I bring my training partners there, and they're like, "Well, dude, like this is crazy. Like, how does no one like know about this?"
Right.
And so, yeah, hopefully, I'm not telling too many people about this because I don't want to be overswarmed with people. But the island is beautiful, man. I can live on the beach for $500 a month, and the food is super cheap, and yeah, it just talk about ticking all the boxes. It really does, and I'm much more of an island life, slow life kind of guy. And I love being by water. I love being in tropical weather. So it just works out. And it's a good balance between like the Thailand and the touristy Thailand. It's not too way on one way or another. So yeah, I love it there, man.
Have you been to Phuket yet?
I've been to Phuket. Phuket's a little bit too crazy for me in regards to like the tourist. Like I've been to Patong. I haven't been too much around Phuket, but Patong is nuts, man, and it's just a little bit too. Yeah, it's just too much. I'm over too much senses going off in all different places, and it's like Bangla Road, as I'm sure you know. It's just like Mardi Gras every single night.
The devil lives in Bangla Road. Like I'm doing a retreat, and
you're gonna lose some people there, man.
In October, I'm gonna take them down that road because I want them to see that that is honestly the devil lives on that street. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's like as soon as you get on that street, it's like, oh my god! It's like when I first went to Thailand, I lived on Bangla Road.
I think we all have, man.
I have to admit, the first time I went to Thailand, I was by myself. I trained hard for like 2.5 weeks. Didn't party, didn't do anything, and then finally went out to a fight, cornered somebody, and then, you know, Ray Elby was running out. I trained at Tiger Muay Thai at the time, and Ray Elby was running Tiger Muay Thai at that time, and you know, we went down to corner somebody, and he said to me, listen, I said after the fights, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna stay down here and, you know, go have a couple drinks on Bangla, and he looked at me, and he was like, listen, do not go in those mountains, because he pointed up there's mountains around here. He's like, do not go in those mountains. There's people who've come to Tiger Muay Thai and have gone on Bangla Road and ended up in those mountains and have not come back. So he was like serious, and I was like, yeah, come on, man. I'm Funk Roberts, man. Nothing can hurt me. Well, this is another story in another time, but I did end up in those mountains.
and you survived.
Yeah, barely. But that road, man, is just so crazy. But yeah, no, Phuket's got Shillong, where Tiger is, and Phuket Top Team and Dragon, and it has become very touristy, but not in a bad way, in a good way, because everyone on that street goes there for fitness or to get in shape or martial arts or UFC fighters or whatever, because there's so many gyms, and it's just focused. The whole focus of that street, which is like 1.5 miles long, is just all fitness, where there's CrossFit, there's cross training, there's bodybuilding gyms, there's tons of Muay Thai gyms, MMA gyms. Of course, you got Phuket Top Team and Tiger. I think you should at least take a couple of days and fly, go through there. You know what I mean? Like just touch base at Tiger and then go across and touch base at Phuket Top Team and kind of just take a look at the road, because there's no other place in the world that's like this place.
I heard it's called like Fighters Road or something like
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so many top level gyms and stuff, and that's a great thing about Thailand too, is because when you go there to train specifically and you're at a gym, you're living at a gym, like you said, that's what everyone's doing. So it's so easy to just get obsessed and immersed in your training and not think about anything else. And that's why I'm considering moving to Thailand, is because back at home you got all these responsibilities and all these things that are just always calling for your attention, whether it's family or friends and that kind of stuff. Not that I love my family and friends,
Totally.
but it just distracts me from the goals I'm trying to accomplish. So yeah, that's why I love Thailand, is because it's far away from everything and it's super easy to just get immersed in what you're doing. And so yeah, I'm excited to go back.
Totally. So let's kind of switch gears and talk about the next evolution, because you went to Thailand, you fought, you now you're understanding that Muay Thai is going to be your thing. But how did you branch into creating Nak Muay Nation?
So initially I created Muay Thai Guy, which was, I never thought I would be the Muay Thai Guy. I just thought Muay Thai Guy was like a cool name for a website. And so I started just kind of documenting my journey, writing about my pre-fight thoughts, sharing my videos of my fights and that kind of stuff. And then people started reaching out to me. They started asking me questions about where I was training, how I was training. And instead of writing individual answers, I just started to write blog posts. And the blog posts kind of led to videos. The videos led to me doing a podcast. And then I saw the potential in there actually being room for growth in this, and I could actually make a living doing this. So I started to go more full-time with that. I quit my job. And then one thing led to another, and I decided that I needed to create like a community that was more, I don't know, just Muay Thai Guy was more of it had a blog feel. It wasn't so much a community as it was just like an online magazine.
Right.
So I felt like I needed to create a community, and that's where Nak Muay Nation came into play. And so I partnered up with my buddy Lawrence Kenshin, who does striking analysis and breakdowns, and we put together this awesome membership site and just entire platform that's loaded with fighters who we sponsor, like Paul Banashik, who's actually fighting for a title on Lion Fight Next. Tiffany Van Soos, my buddy Chris Masseri, who all teach their own unique styles and do tutorials and sparring breakdowns, fight breakdowns. And it's been super cool to see it grow. And I learned so much just from the other instructors in there. And then I try to teach what I learn.
Right.
And it's been it's been really rewarding, like intrinsically just being able to connect with people on that next level and have that exclusive like community and forum where everyone's able to kind of bounce ideas back and forth to each other. It's extremely motivating. So it's still in the baby stages. It's only about 2 years old, so it's going to be exciting to see it continue to grow.
Yeah, I love that you created Nak Muay Nation, because I'm a big proponent of creating tribes, bringing like-minded people into a community that you can grow together, learn together, motivate each other, inspire each other. And, I think the Muay Thai community having what you've created is incredible. And I love it. Like I said, probably 800,000 by now on Facebook, and you're definitely over 1 million in regards to how many Nak Muay, which means fighter for all of you who don't know, in Thai.
That's probably a good disclaimer. So people know what we're talking about.
So you guys know what we're talking about. So, the community is, I'm sure there's lots of other people outside of the community in there, but it's Muay Thai enthusiasts, whether they're just training in Muay Thai, whether they love Muay Thai, whether they're fighters, whether they're professional fighters, whether they're world champions. Like literally you have everyone you're the face of Muay Thai pretty much worldwide.
Dude, it's crazy. Don't even remind me, because it's a little I was not expecting to be like that, and it was I'm a very introverted person, and so it's a little weird putting myself out there, but at the same time, just like I was scared of fighting, I was also scared of putting myself out there, but it's been extremely rewarding, and I've learned a lot about myself in that aspect too. But yeah, it's crazy whenever I go to a Muay Thai fight or any kind of Muay Thai event, people will come up to me and want pictures, and
Totally.
it still blows my mind, dude. Because like I'm not used to this. I was not expecting to be like a mini celebrity in the Muay Thai scene, but it comes with the territory, and it's awesome being able to see the impact that you have on people when you meet them face to face, and they tell you, yo man, like your videos have helped me, your training tips have helped me, I love your podcast, blah blah blah. And yeah, that makes it even more rewarding and more motivating to keep doing what I'm doing. And I hope the main goal is to help grow the sport. That's like the simple mission that I have. And I think I've been able to do that, whether it's been directly or indirectly. And I hope I continue to do that in the future as well.
Let me just ask you a quick question. When people come up to you and they say, "Hey, I've used your workouts, you've changed my life," how do you react to that? Like, what happens? Take us through what happens, because same thing happens to me. Like, people come to me like, "Hey, oh my God, Funk Roberts, I use your workouts," especially when I go to Thailand. Like, people from all over the world go to Thailand, and on that street, and like every single day, there's like 2 or 3 people from anywhere in the world, like, dude, I just used your workouts to help me prepare for my last like KSW fight. I'm like, holy shit, like this guy. And for me, I react a little bit different, but I want to hear how you, like, what goes through your mind when all of this is happening. I think it's good for people to understand.
First off, I'm very thankful and appreciative that people like follow my stuff. So I'm always, first and foremost, I'm like, oh, thank you so much for like the support and following. And then after that, I try to pick at them a little bit and figure out what stuff they really enjoy the most, what stuff they like the most. And most of the time, the podcast is like one of the biggest things. So people always love the podcast because it's a really intimate experience. I mean, you're listening to us talk in your ear for an hour or so, and so people really get connected with you, and they get to listen to your stories and experiences, and then the videos and stuff as well. Honestly, people come up to me all the time because I wrote the one Muay Thai stoner post, and it's the most popular post on my blog by like 100 times, and so people will come up to me all the time and talk to me about that one specific post often. Wow. But yeah, basically, I just thank them for their support, and then I kind of just inquire about what they like most about Muay Thai Guy or Knock More Nation, and this way I just kind of have an idea of what people are really taking in, so this way I can continue creating that type of content.
Yeah, I kind of do the same thing, although I know that my wife sometimes has to remind me. Well, she doesn't remind me. She's just like I fan out when I get fans, if that makes sense. Like, I get excited that they actually like my stuff. Like, I'm like surprised, and I'm like, oh my god, and then I'll take a picture let's take a picture, and I'll take my camera out to take the picture, because I'm excited to meet those people. You know what I mean? And I like to pry at them. But yeah, I mean, I'm always going to be like that. Like, no matter what, no matter how many followers I get and how big this becomes, I'm always going to be that person that when you come up to me, I'm actually going to be more of a fan of that person, because they actually I've actually helped them in some way, or they've heard me in some way. That's just kind of like, I think that's just ingrained in my body. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think I know I won't ever be the, some people, when they get famous, they kind of change or whatever. Not saying that I'm going to be famous, but,
No, I totally hear what you mean, because it can be a little overwhelming at times. Yes. I'm not going to lie. When I'm at a Muay Thai event and I'm just trying to watch the fights, and people will come up to me and want to talk and take pictures, and like I love it, but at the same time, it's like I'm an introverted person, like I said, so I kind of like hiding away and being a wallflower. Like in high school and college parties, dude, I was one in the corner. Yeah, I was one in the corner just watching everyone, And so now that I'm kind of in the limelight, it's definitely an adjusting period that I have to take. But yeah, like you said, I don't think I'll ever be like, oh my god, like leave me alone, I don't want to be bothered right now. No, I'm always like, I wouldn't be able to do what I do without the fans and supporters. So like the fact that they're able to come up to me and tell me what I'm helping them with, it's just a small way for me to repay them back by actually giving them the time of day to just chat with them and see what's going on.
Hey, just another thing. You mentioned that before you made the decision, you had a job, and I think this is good for people to listen here, because you decided, like, you left your job. I think I actually remember this. I think I actually was talking to you during this time.
It could have been, yeah.
You were like kind of reaching out, and we were kind of going back and forth, and you just wanted to get a little bit more information on the online stuff, and you were thinking of leaving your job, and then you literally just did, and then packed up and went to Thailand. I can't remember the process, but what made you just decide to leave your job? Like, you had a comfortable job. What were you doing before you did this?
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of jobs before this, and they were all great jobs. Like I've lived a very fortunate life, and I've been an ice skating instructor, I've been a baseball instructor, I've been a lifeguard. I've had like super easy jobs. I was serving table at Red Lobster for a little bit. That was probably like the quote unquote worst job I had, but it wasn't even that bad.
Yeah.
The job I ended up leaving that I really enjoyed doing was I was teaching kids martial arts, and I was teaching Muay Thai classes at a gym down near the city.
Right.
And I loved it, man. My bosses were awesome, and they treated me really well. The kids looked up to me, and I was able to teach the adults in Muay Thai, so it was decent paying. So I had like no complaints at all.
Right.
But I wanted the autonomy. I wanted the flexibility to do what I want, when I wanted, and how I wanted to do it. And
Right.
so I knew in order to do that, I really needed to jump in with both feet to my Muay Thai Guy business. At the time, I really wasn't making any money doing it, though.
Right.
And it was kind of I was just kind of working on it part time, but I knew that there was potential in it. I just didn't know how much potential, or if I could actually make money doing it. But I believed in the idea of it. I believed in my work ethic to do it.
Right.
And so me and my girlfriend Liz, we live upstate, and we decided to move down to the city to kind of just pursue things more head on. And so once we did that, I quit my job. I gave them a 2-month notice. And then we ended up moving down to the city. I just trained full time at Evolution Muay Thai and tried to make Muay Thai Guy work. And at first, it did not work, man. I had Liz
Right.
paying rent and paying for food and doing all this kind of stuff early on.
Totally.
But it was kind of that sink or swim thing, and burning your – like getting to the island and then burning your boat and then just like figuring out how to survive from there. And that's how I kind of added that sense of urgency with not having a job, not having an income, that I needed to get shit done. I needed to work hard and do everything I could, so this way I can support myself, support my girlfriend. And so at first it was really scary, and I had so many failures, as I'm sure you know. You just
Yeah.
you mess up so much, and
All the time.
Oh God, I still do. It drives me crazy. And
100%.
you think at one point you'll stop like messing everything up, but I keep messing more and more stuff up the more I go along. So
I think it's because we continue to not challenge. Well, we continue to challenge ourselves, but we always bring new things in. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I got this idea. I don't know anything about how this idea is going to work, but this is the idea. So now I have to go through the process of making that idea work. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's interesting too, because a lot of what we do just come based off ideas, and we have to turn those ideas into reality. And a lot of people don't see the vision that we have. My family and friends thought I was crazy when I first started it, and now they're like, "Yo, how you doing what you're doing?" I'm like, "Well, I told you how I was gonna do it. You just didn't listen to me when I was telling you, and now they want to know, So, it's an idea that you really just have to believe in. If there's one piece of advice in regards to really anything, to be successful, whether it's business or your Muay Thai career or strength and conditioning, whatever it may be, it's just like believing in yourself and really just like going all in. And like I said, just deciding that, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to succeed. And no matter how many challenges or quote unquote failures come my way, I'm going to just keep trucking on. I'm going to move on and get there eventually, because I mean, there's no easy path to success. And I think if there was, then it wouldn't feel as good. You wouldn't feel as satisfied when you get to it. So the fact that you and I are able to overcome these bumps in the road makes everything that much more satisfying and makes you that much more grateful to be where you are. So yeah, believing in yourself and just working hard. People are always looking for like a silver bullet, but it's hard work and belief, and that's like really all it is.
It's 20-hour days, sometimes in your house, 5 days without even seeing the sun.
And it's beautiful outside. Like today is like, it's going to be like 70 degrees and sunny, but I'm going to be inside all day grinding it away, and it's a Friday.
Yeah.
Like Friday nights and Saturday nights, all
No
my
such
friends are
thing.
out. I'm on the computer, bro. Like, what do you
There's
want me
no
to do?
such thing as Friday, Saturday, holidays. Like those
All
don't
days
matter.
are the same. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, let's talk about your fight career. Let's go. Let's get into that because, like I said, you're a leader of a nation, but you still fight, right?
Yes, I've slowed down a little bit because I've really thrown myself into building Knockmore Nation. But
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I'm trying to make my mind shift from business to fighting again because I'm turning 30 this year. I fought on my 29th birthday last year,
Right.
and it kind of after I fought, I ended up losing. It was a really fun fight though, a really tough
Mm-hmm.
fight. And I went down to Kopanang Island, and I spent a week there after I fought, and I was just kind of on the beach, just thinking about life and like what direction I'm going. And I realized that I mean, a fighter's shelf life is relatively short, and if I want to really go all in and make a difference in the sport. And I don't want to just be a blogger. I don't want to be just an ambassador for the sport. I want to be more than that, you know?
Right.
And so I really want to be a top level fighter who has the credentials behind him to be doing everything I'm doing. And so that's where my fight career has to really take a top priority as opposed to the business now. So I'm making that shift now. I'm trying to get things more set up where I don't have to do as much work, and I have my friends and employees doing the work for me.
Right.
So this way I can just go all in. Because when I first started Muay Thai Guy, that ultimately was my goal. Like I wanted to help spread the sport and connect with people, but I also wanted to create a source of income where I could just let that run, the whole Tim Ferriss 4-hour work week thing,
Totally.
and then be able to just train and fight full time, because I figured that would give me such a huge leg up on my opponent, because most people who fight, they're working full time as well, and their work doesn't involve Muay Thai. It's just usually a regular full time job. So if I'm able to train twice a day and not have any distractions and just be all in with fighting, I feel like I can do pretty well, and I've done relatively well so far.
Mm-hmm.
But the past few years, I've only been able to fight like once a year because of how busy my schedule has been. And so and I haven't won. I've lost my last 3 fights, and it's
Right.
really it eats at me, man. That shit eats at me every single night. And so I need to make a life change. And so I'm slowly getting to there. Like I said, I'm going to be going to Thailand in 2018. I'm going to Thailand in a couple months as well.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I hope to just go all in and try to fight as consistently as possible until I don't want to anymore, and then see where I want to go.
And so when you go to Thailand to fight, are you going to fight in Thailand, but also like your last fight was it Lion Fight? Your last fight or Glory?
My last fight was actually in Thailand on Super Muay Thai.
Oh, Super Muay Thai.
That was super cool, dude, because like I came out with like fireworks and like a smoke screen, and I was like on the big TV and on national TV. But before that, I fought on Lion Fight too.
Right.
And so yeah, I've been fortunate to be able to fight on top promotions like that. It's been really cool experiences.
And so when you go to so when you are in Thailand, fight like training next year, the goal is it just to fight in Thailand or everywhere?
Well, ideally everywhere,
Okay.
but I want to fight often. So the thing about Thailand is that you can fight every month if you wanted to out there.
Every
you know?
2 weeks.
And and the thing about Thailand too is that I feel so much less pressure there.
Right.
In the States, your fight has like a 2-month build up. You have to promote it. You have to like sell tickets. You have to do all this stuff. All your family and friends are going to be there. Everyone's watching you. Where in Thailand, it's just like another day, you know?
Totally.
It's just like you fight, you win, you lose, and then you do it again. And
Right.
you just keep doing it. And so I like that, especially with my last few fights being some losses.
Yes.
And the fact that it's kind of weird being like a public figure in the Muay Thai scene too, that everyone is, when I fight, I feel so much people watching
Pressure.
me, you know? And so I kind of need to alleviate that pressure by just being in Thailand and living the simple life and just doing it because I enjoy doing it. And so, yeah, I plan on fighting mainly in Thailand. I would like to fight at the top stadiums at one point. I would like to fight on all the promotions. I want to just kind of experience it all, man. And if I could fight in China on some kickboxing promotions, that'd be great. If I could fight in Glory eventually, that'd be great too. But yeah, I'm just kind of taking it as it comes and see where it goes. But yeah, at first I would imagine my first few fights will just be in Thailand on whether it's Super Muay Thai or Max Muay Thai, and then build off from there.
Yeah, I think it's good that so you're on a 3-fight losing streak, And it's really important to get that win, especially if you are pursuing this. This is something that I always think about when I talk to other fighters, and something that I've learned because as a professional athlete, it's really important to get a win. Like literally, if you have to fight someone who's not at your level or something, because at times you can start getting used to losing without even realizing, because the outcome is always the same, no matter how hard or how good or bad or however the fight goes. And what starts to happen is you start getting into that mindset of that losing mindset, which you don't do it on purpose, but you need to get that. You just have the feeling of losing, and it starts to stay inside you. Where if you break that with a win, but just a win, like it doesn't matter who it is, it's just a win. It's just to say, okay, I got that win. Like I don't care who it was. I have the feeling of winning a fight, and now I can come back on that feeling. Because once you lose, it's hard to gravitate back to the feeling of winning. Does that make sense?
No, totally, man. And yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, because I mean, losing sucks, man. The winning's the highest of highs. Like there's no comparison to it, and losing is the lowest of lows. And so they kind of go hand in hand in that way. And it's really easy to like start doubting yourself and not believing in yourself when you're losing fights.
Yes.
And then you could just kind of become not okay with it, but it just becomes like the norm. And that's something that I'm trying to break right now. And as much as a win is important, I'm also trying to. It's a fine balance, man, because I'm trying to still figure this out as I'm going along, you know.
Totally.
But as much as I want to win, I don't want to also put so much pressure on myself to win,
Right.
and I don't want to fight just a scrub either.
No.
And so it's a weird balance to find, because I've been fighting really experienced guys, and
I know.
it's just like, God damn, like give me a regular fight, just give me someone to like who has my same experience level. But I just keep getting mashed up where it's I'm fighting tough guys.
Yeah.
Well, although I'm losing, I'm putting on a good show. I'm
Yeah.
showing good technique and everything, and so I'm not like bummed about that. But not getting your hand raised is just, it's a tough feeling, man. And so I do hope that my next fight I'm able to win, and I hope it's a even fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm also trying not to put too much pressure on myself to win, and remember that I'm doing it because I like to have fun, and I am a super competitive person, so like winning is like very important to me.
Totally.
And I think in nowadays society, it's easy to like the whole second place trophy kind of thing, you know, and I don't want to get used to that either. So yeah, I just like the idea of going to Thailand, immersing myself in training, so this way, whether I've lost my last 3 or 10 fights, it doesn't matter, because now I'm completely immersed in it. That's all I'm working on. That's all I'm striving for. So I have all the confidence going into my next fight, knowing that I've done everything I possibly could to be as ready as I can for this fight. So whether I win or lose, as long as I do my best and put on a good show, that's the key. And I think if I'm able to do that, I will win. And so it's just a matter of finding that good balance in between everything.
So you get a call from the promoter. Okay, Sean, you're fighting in 8 weeks. You've got to fight in 8 weeks. What is your fight schedule? Like your training? What is involved in your training? It doesn't have to be 8-week training plan, but what when you decide, okay, this is my fight, this is the date, and it's fight camp. What's going on in fight camp?
A lot is going on in fight camp. I guess 8 weeks out, let's say, I'll probably like start my strength and conditioning program. Talking about Funk Robert strength and conditioning right now. I'll probably start about 8 weeks out, focusing on the strength aspect of my conditioning, and so that'll be a lot of mainly power lifts, really a lot of squats, deadlifts, bench presses, the things that are building my strength base. And then as I progress, every like 2 or 3 weeks, I'll change the next phase to my power phase, which is a little bit higher reps, more dynamic exercises, maybe like weighted pistol squats and one arm bench presses, and more functional in that sense, because when you're doing Muay Thai, you're kicking on one leg, you're punching with one arm, and so I think it's really important to be able to kind of pick and choose each limb of the body and really develop the stabilization and the functionality with that, where you're able to implement it into a fight.
Yeah,
and then as I get closer, go ahead.
Your strength phase would be like 2 weeks maybe, and then
like 2 or 3. If I have 8 weeks out, I'll usually dedicate like 2 weeks to each phase, and then my last 2 weeks of my fight will be mainly tapering down, focusing on cardio and explosive bursts, and my weight cut and that kind of stuff.
So this I'm just gonna break this down a little bit more. So the strength is great. You got your strength, and you're literally just doing strength work. Like you're going to the gym, and literally just doing like
5x5, just 5x5, like deadlift and squat, and then the next I'll take a day or two off, and then I'll do deadlifts and chest press, and usually those 3 lifts are the only things I do. And then I'll mix in some body weight, like some pull-ups and push-ups to superset them with. But I'll mainly be focusing on the strength, and then I'll make sure to do some kind of explosive power endurance too, just to keep everything there. But the main focus is the strength early on.
How many days a week would you be in the gym doing that?
Usually 2 to 3, I would say. Yeah.
And then the next 2 weeks is now you're moving into more power, your power phase. And how many times a week would you be in the gym? And give me, you mentioned some of the exercises, which I get, but how many times a week would you be doing that? Same thing?
Yeah, more or less. I'm always doing strength and conditioning 2 or 3 times a week. And when it comes to the power phase, essentially, early on with the strength phase, you're lifting heavy and low reps, and then as you progress, you're lifting a little bit lighter with more reps, and then as you get even closer to the fight, it's even lighter and max reps kind of deal. And so that's essentially the progression that I follow. I also changed the exercises themselves to become a little bit more just dynamic and functional in relation to Muay Thai. Because as I get closer to the fight, I want to make sure I'm doing everything that's relative to punching and kicking and blocking and all that kind of stuff. And so I'll mix in all that as well. And then at the same time, so every time I'm working my strength phase, let's say, I'm like working strength 80%, and then I'm still doing my power and my power endurance about 20%. So this way I'm still keeping everything there. But the main focus is the one phase wherever I'm at.
And are you running every day? Like, do you run every day, or do you do sprints? Where are those?
So early on when I'm doing my strength, I'm focusing on my aerobic conditioning. So that's long distance running. That's like 30 to 45 minutes, maybe an hour of just running. And it's nothing too crazy, just like light. I'm not timing myself, but I'm not like I'm not judging myself. So I'm running 60 minutes without thinking about how far I'm running.
I was going to ask that question.
And so this way I can just get my heart rate up, build that aerobic base. So this way the aerobic base is important for numerous reasons. The 2 main ones is it will help you train longer, because if you're able to keep your heart rate at that base, it will help with your recovery, which will help you just be able to put in more hours. So be going in Thailand and training 6 hours a day, you need that aerobic base. Otherwise you'll pass out and probably die. So joke. The aerobic base is like super important. So early on in my training camp, I will do just long distance running, long distance biking, and that kind of stuff. As I get closer, I'll start doing more sprints and more hill work and more stairs and more body weight circuits that are like Tabata intervals and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of all. I've been fortunate enough with my podcast to interview guys like you and Don Heatrick and all of these other strength and conditioning people. So I've been able to really pick their brains and figure out the best ways to go about creating a program when it comes to training for a fight. And so what I've learned is this tends to work the best. You build your aerobic and strength base far out, and then you kind of chip away at that, because you need like a foundation, right? So if you look at it at a pyramid or a building, you need like a really strong foundation, and then you build on top of that with more specific things like the explosive workouts and the one arm chest presses and the one arm or one legged deadlifts. So this way you're building the core stability and everything that you need in order to be a good fighter.
Amazing.
So yeah, that's my general philosophy when it comes to that.
I love it. That's you're speaking to to my philosophies right there in regards to like a fight camp, what it would look like. Obviously, it's going to change for everybody because some people, may already be strong and maybe they'll be more power and strength endurance at the beginning. Other, like everyone's different, but the philosophy and how you pyramid and progress through is really good. I really like that. So now you've done that, so how is your conditioning? Like, what would is that your strong point? Is that something you're still working on? Like when you get into fights, I'm talking about when you get into the fight now, because there's a lot of other things that happen before the fight. Obviously, the weight cut, the atmosphere, how you feel when you wake up, and then the adrenaline dump, if that even still happens to you because you fought so many times. Like, are you doing enough in your strength and conditioning camp to alleviate? You can't alleviate all those factors, but cross out some of those factors.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm in pretty good shape, and my resting heart rate is in the 40s most of the time. Wow. And then I'm able to keep it relatively low throughout an intense training session. And I track my heart rate so I have a heart rate monitor. So when I'm doing pad works and that kind of stuff, I can see where my heart rate is, how fast I recover. When I wake up in the morning, if I'm overtrained, I can take a little day off. So I try to be scientific about it. So this way I'm just doing everything right, But more or less, yeah, I think it comes down to a mental thing, though, because you can be in the best shape of your life, but if you don't feel like you're in the best shape of your life, it's going to affect you in a fight. And the fact that, like, one thing I notice, especially early on with fighters, is people take too many breaks during training. So, like with pad work, for example, people will be doing 5-minute rounds of pad work to really push themselves, especially when you get closer to a fight. I think it's really important to build mental toughness. And so going past the things that I don't fight 5-minute rounds, but I'll do 5-minute rounds just so I'm able to push past that normal comfort zone that I'm so used to. And you always get to a point, whether you're running, whether you're doing pad work, whether you're doing any type of conditioning, you always get to a point where in your mind you're like, all right, I'm tired, I want to stop. Right. But whenever you get to that point, you have to train yourself to keep going, and if not just keep going, go harder now, So I think that is what's really important. So whether you're in great shape or not, I think, or whether I'm in great shape or not, we're talking about me, I think is almost besides the point. It's just a matter of me being able to train my mind to push my body past when it's feeling completely exhausted and tired. Because like in a fight, you're not going to be like, oh, timeout, like I need a 5-second break before I start again, like someone's punching you in the face. And so you need to be able to just train your body and mind to go past what it's used to. Otherwise your opponent will feel that, they'll see that in you. And so, it becomes just a mind over matter kind of thing.
That's why I like to involve finishers in my work. It's like burpee finishers for me is key. Not just for me, but like I've done it with athletes. Like when I went to Thailand, I was training a guy who fought in Cage Warriors, and he actually saw a work. I was doing a burpee finisher, like a Tabata burpee finisher with a bunch of fighters here in Toronto, and I posted on Instagram, and he watched that and he was just like, man, these guys are pussies. Like, come on, man. Like, come on. Right? And so when I went to Thailand, I saw him there and we started talking, and then he just finished a workout and he was kind of like, hanging around. I'm like, no, let's do a finisher. Let's do this burpee finisher. And he was like, oh, okay, sure. And I put him through and he died. Like he literally died after the third round. And like you could see he was, now granted, he just got to Thailand like 2 days prior. So, but you could see that this is next level for him. Like this was like, he's used to going to the gym and doing whatever he does, but you do it at your own pace. And you kind of, like you said, you rest a little bit and do whatever. But then when you're pushed past what you're used to, he was done in his mind, but I was like, no, you're not done. Let's do this. And it's only 4 minutes and you're going as hard as you can. And, he died after the fourth round. He got through it, mind you, but, it was tough. It was extremely tough. And he looked at me and he was like, holy shit, man, that was like the hardest thing that I've done. in a long time. And then he explained to me how he saw it online, and he was like, these guys are pussies. But when he's going through it, it's a whole different story. And same thing too, you know, when I run the fighters classes in Thailand with like world champions and UFC fighters and all these guys, and I'm putting through one of my bodyweight circuits, you know, 60 seconds of work, they're dying, you know, like they're just not they're used to going to a specific point, and depending on who you have around you, you know, if you don't have guys that are going to push you, like not just doing actual pad work and your actual technique training, but outside in the gym when you're going, okay, you know, we just did this workout, now we got to push you a little further for the next 15 minutes outside of your comfort zone into that mental fortitude zone. You know what I mean?
I think it's important to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
100%.
Like, you know, because like in a fight, it's very rare that you're going to be comfortable, and you have to like develop that, like you said, the mental fortitude to be able to push past the times you feel completely exhausted and tired. And like honestly, my first 2 fights in Thailand, I won by first round knockout, and they were like whatever. I didn't really feel like I was in a fight because they happened so quickly. In my 3rd fight, I fought a guy who had like 30 fights, and I was pushed past all my preconceived notions of how hard I could work. And after the first 2 rounds, I thought I could knock him out. So I knocked him down 3 or 4 times, but he got back up each time. Right. And at the end of that, I had the adrenaline dump. I was already exhausted, and I had to fight 3 more rounds. Wow. And the fact that I remember going back to the corner after the second round being, holy shit, like, how am I supposed to fight 3 more rounds? I can't even get up from the stool right now. But then you get up from the stool and you just do it. You just make it happen. And I think being able to, like I said, you can be in the best shape of your life, but if you're not constantly pushing yourself, then you're just doing yourself a disservice, because in a fight, you have to push yourself. You have to be able to push the pace. And if you're not doing that during your training, and if you can't hold yourself accountable during your training to go past your normal limitations, then you can't count on a coach or a trainer to always do that either. You need to be able to develop that in yourself. Otherwise, you're not going to make it very far as a fighter.
Exactly. That's why I put stuff out there all the time, because I want people who don't have access to, you know, the Joel Jamesons and the, you know, all these amazing trainers throughout the world who are at these awesome gyms, that to be able to push themselves past, you know, their limits, or to be able to use workouts at their home or at their own gym or outside that will help them get the you know, mental fortitude, but just conditioning in general, you know?
Yeah, and the thing too is, like, you can be super scientific about your strength and conditioning and do everything to the T, but there comes a point where you just need to be like, fuck that. Like, I just need to go as hard as I possibly can.
Totally.
And so I'm going to throw up. And then that has nothing to do with science. That just has to do with, like, the human ability to push past everything that you're used to. And so, yeah, I think it's a fine balance between, because I know so many guys who are almost like too analytical and too scientific when it comes to strength and conditioning. And I'm just like, they're like, no, my heart rate needs to be at this before I do this, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, you just need to go. Like, in a fight, you're not going to be tracking your heart rate. You just got to go and see how you do and take it from there. So, yeah, that's a fine balance, too. The whole life, fighting, strength and conditioning, it's all finding, like, the right balance between everything you learn in order to make it the best for you.
Yeah, I see. You know what? I see that a lot when I watch UFC Countdown. One of the things that I want to do with this podcast is do like post-fight card breakdowns of people's strength and conditioning, because my wife and I always do that. We'll watch a fight, we're like, man, that guy gassed, or man, Joanna Champion, you could tell that her conditioning's on point.
I love that girl.
She's moving and throwing kicks, and she hasn't stopped moving for 5 rounds while you have someone hunting you down. That is extremely tiring, but she's continuing to throw kicks, continue to throw great, accurate, you know, combinations, moving around for 5 rounds. Like, that's conditioning on a completely different level. And so we talk about that, and it's so funny because I watch these UFC countdowns, and, you know, they always go to the gym, like, you know, it's cookie cutter, right? So, you know, they go to some therapy thing, and then they're in the gym, you know, doing battle ropes or these crazy workouts.
The stuff that looks cool on camera.
Yeah, and then I see them at the weigh-ins or whatever, and I'm like, man, all that shit, just you know, it's all bullshit. You know, it's all smoke and mirrors, because this person is definitely not trained like that for the full fight camp, especially when I watch the fight and they're gassed after the first round, or they take a kick to the stomach, or, you know, they're kind of playing everything safe. It's weird. Like, you know, like you said, it's like, just you got to get those workouts in where it pushes you past your limit, especially if you're training for a fight. Like, that's got to be the norm, you know?
Well, you're fighting someone, dude.
Yeah.
Like someone's trying to hurt you. And if you're not able to get past that normal limitation of you getting past exhaustion, you're gonna get hurt. And like, it's not a game. Fighting is not a game you play. It's a fight, you know. And so you just have to be able to really drive and push harder than you do with normal sports, because there's more consequence to if you lose. It's not like losing a basketball game.
Yeah.
Like,
Come back the next day and play.
Exactly. So you lose a fight, you get a broken nose, your ego gets demoralized, no one wants to talk to you. You know? And so, like, it's a whole different ball game. So but that's why I love fighting, because there's so much at stake that it makes it that much more significant to me, knowing that, like, I try to take ego out of it, but your ego is on the line and your name is on the line. And whether you want to believe it or not, it's something that all humans like deal with. And like, you're fighting in front of people are going to be judging you, people are going to be watching you. And just having that pressure is almost like a turn on in a way to want to push harder. And having that pressure makes me work harder in training, knowing that, like, yo, I have all this stuff, like, people are counting on me. I'm counting on myself, and I don't want to get hurt. I don't want my mom to see me get hurt. So I need to work my ass off to make sure I do everything I possibly can to make sure that doesn't happen. And so, yeah, I love fighting, man. It's funny because I hated fighting at first, but it's funny how it works out.
Totally. Hey, so let's just quickly talk about these retreats, because I think they're really incredible. In fact, your retreats inspired me to have my own retreats.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it. So just explain to us about what your retreats are, because you have different ones. So just explain to us what they're about.
Okay. Well, my next one coming up, I'll be in Singapore at Evolve MMA, and we're basically doing a Train with Legends camp, because Evolve MMA has a whole, all their trainers are world champion Muay Thai fighters, so it's going to be pretty cool just training with all of them. This is my first time doing it, so I honestly don't really know what to expect.
Right.
It's a relatively small group, so it'll be an intimate learning experience. We'll be able to really bond and train with each other, so that should be really cool. After that, I do Thailand training camps, which are much more they're training camps, they're fight camps essentially.
Really?
And whether you fight or not, it's besides the point. But if you want to train like a fighter, these are what they're made for. And you're training twice a day. You're experiencing not the touristy side of Thailand. We're in Bangkok, in like the northern side of Bangkok, where you're the only foreigners around. You know, like no one's really. I mean, some of them speak a little bit of English around the area, but you're really immersed in Thailand Muay Thai. We go to watch fights at Lumpini. We go to watch our own fighters fight and corner them. And we just basically eat, sleep, breathe Muay Thai day in and day out, and it's been quite awesome meeting people from all around the world who share the same passion, and that's another reason why these events are so cool.
I love
it. And then
I love that.
So cool.
Sorry to interrupt. I love that, because just think, if you're listening to this, just think about this. Like, you have a fight coming up, whether it's Muay Thai or whether it's MMA or kickboxing or whatever it is. Imagine going to Thailand and just like you say, immersing yourself in how long are the training camps? How long?
You can either come for 2, 4, or 8 weeks.
Right. So whatever you choose, if it's 2, if it's 4, probably 4 or 8 would be the best. But just like, that's all you do and you have nothing else to worry about. You know, when you get back, 4 weeks in Thailand of 2-a-day training, you're going to come back 100 times better than you left. Like,
that's like a year of training in the States.
Yes. 100%.
Because
so
the amount of time you're putting in is just insane compared.
Yeah. And you're learning from the best of the best. Like, you're learning from world champions, stadium champions, trainers who've been training for many years. So it's like, that's like a note for me. That, like, if I'm a fighter and Thailand's very cheap, so really all you need to really think about and focus on is getting that flight and then saving your money to go on, you know, on one of your retreats. But after that, I mean, everything out there is cheap, and all you're doing is focusing on fighting and training. And then when you get back, man, your confidence is there, your conditioning is there, you're a next level. And, you know, especially if you have a fight coming up, like that, to me, would be a no-brainer.
Yeah, and the fact too is that Thailand is a awesome country. Like you get to really just immerse yourself in the culture too, and like I love Phuket, I love Koh Phangan, I love all like the places that are kind of made for tourists as well. But I also like the being in the middle of nowhere where no one understands me and people kind of look at me funny because I don't really belong. But it's just a cool experience because it gives you some insight on things that you normally wouldn't. It like we're talking about stepping out of your comfort zone. You step out of your comfort zone a little bit, being in an area of the world that your language is not the number one language being spoken. You have to get used to that. And so, yeah, I love Thailand. And yeah, the training camps are. It's not a vacation. I mean, yes, it is if you love Muay Thai. Like, obviously, it's a vacation, but we're there to work. Everyone who goes there is there to work. We give away sponsorships for 1 month or 2 weeks, depending on who is the hardest worker, and we do like a whole voting thing and stuff. And funny enough, there's only been the girls come to the camp, but there's usually like 2 to 3 each camp compared to like the 10 plus guys.
Right.
But out of all the sponsorship winners, the girls have won 3 out of 4 sponsorships so far. So it just shows how hard working they are. And yeah, they've been putting in a lot of work, and they always fight and they always win. It's crazy.
That's incredible. Yeah. The work ethic, women's work ethic when it comes to fighting is different level. I see that in my wife. Like she's fought.
Yeah, your wife's a beast, dude.
Yeah, she's incredible. Like, honestly, right now, I always tell her, like, she's 46, and I tell her, listen, you could literally, if you had one training camp, you could easily fight in Lion Fight. You could easily fight in Glory. Well, kickboxing a little bit different for her, but she's so good. Like, it's unbelievable how good she is. She's just older, right? So she just doesn't think that she can hang. But I'm like, honey, like, whenever you do smokers or whatever, last second they need somebody, she'll step in and do a smoker and, like, murder the person. It's like, oh, my God. She's just like kicking, you know, kick, teep, you know, punch. Here's a nice little combo, kick, teep, kick to the head, spinning back fist. Like, where are these coming from? Like, you haven't fought in like 2-3 years, and you're still
muscle memory, really man.
But she's still to this day 3 days a week. She's hitting pads with, you know, a crew. She does her strength and conditioning. Like, she's 6 days a week. She's either doing, you know, strength and conditioning. She's going on runs. She's hitting pads. Like, the work ethic, even not having a fight or, you know, as a 46-year-old woman, amazing. But she loves Muay Thai. You know, that's the passion behind it.
Well, I think it's really important that you mentioned that because, like, whether she's fighting or not, I think it's one great thing about MMA, Muay Thai, just like the whole physical culture of what we do is that it just bleeds into your everyday life. So you're literally like, there's not a day I don't work out. I'm always doing something, whether it's a run or actual Muay Thai training or something. I can't sit inside all day and do nothing. It's just not in my blood to do that. And I think Muay Thai has played a huge factor in that because I always feel like I need to be improving. I need to be sharpening my tools. And yeah, so your wife is a great example because she's always working whether or not she has a fight. And I think that's a really important concept for people to get down because not a lot of people fight. Like, only 1% of people who train actually fight, you know? So you don't necessarily need to fight in order to be working your ass off. And so I think it's important to be able to push yourself, even if you're not fighting, even if you don't have like a date set or a set goal. Being able to build that mental resilience is going to be really, really important.
Plus, you're gonna learn faster. You're gonna learn better. You know, the better shape you're in, the more you're gonna learn. The more you do this, the more you're gonna learn. This is a passion for people who don't fight. They're doing this for a passion because a lot of times people will, I just started Muay Thai to get into shape, and then all of a sudden that turns into this passion. Like, fuck, I love Muay Thai, and then you want to do everything you can to get better, but that means you have to do the extra workouts and strength training and conditioning and other things outside of those days that you go to the gym, just so you can continue to get better, continue to grow as a person mentally, physically, spiritually, everything that engulfs Muay Thai. Or sorry, not just Muay Thai, like jiu-jitsu, MMA, wrestling, taekwondo, karate, judo, whatever it is, in order for you to get better at those sports, even if you never, ever want to fight or compete or just do amateur little smokers or whatever it is, the more you get yourself into shape and get better and physically get better and mentally get better, the faster you can learn, the more you can, you know, share with other people, help other people. it's a lifestyle that you need to, I think everything you do in life should be centered around your health. You know what I mean? Like physical health, mental health, like, so wherever you work, whatever job you do should always allow you to work out, train, do whatever. Like that's my philosophy.
No, I totally agree. And I think it's all intertwined, like your physical, mental, spiritual health, even your emotional health, every type of health you can think of is all intertwined with each other. So if you're able to, I mean, we all know the benefits of physical fitness, right?
Right.
And the way it releases endorphins and just makes you feel better. It helps build your muscle. You're just healthier. And you only have one body this life, so you might as well treat it as best as you can. And it's kind of funny because people will be like, well, you say that and then you get punched in the head for a living. I'm like, yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wouldn't be doing nearly as much conscious eating, conscious living, and working out if I wasn't training for a fight. That all gives me the sense of purpose that I need to be working out, I need to be training. And although I might lose some brain cells in the process, I feel like it's a good balance to have. And I think although I do get injured fighting, the amount of health and benefits I get from the training itself and from the rewards of fighting and learning from myself fighting are invaluable. So although there are some risks and I have broken my arm, my nose, and like a whole bunch of other things, it's all been worth it to me. And so yeah, as much as people think we're crazy for doing what we do, I think they're crazy for not doing it. So
Totally. Do you still have time? Do you still have a bit of time?
Dude, I'm good to go. Yeah,
okay, because I like what we're doing here.
Yeah, man, let's keep rolling.
Okay, so those were two. You just mentioned two retreats. You mentioned the Evolve one coming up, Evolve MMA. They've created some of the best MMA fighters, aside from Muay Thai, MMA fighters in the world, fighting on 1FC, some fighting the UFC. I know that Master Yod from Tiger Muay Thai.
He's the man, dude. I was doing pad work with him for the first time ever, and it felt like I've been doing pad work with him for years.
Totally.
He just was able to just pick up on things so quickly. I love that dude. I can't wait to work with him again.
Yeah, he's incredible. Like when he was at Tiger, that was my number one guy, because I knew that the session was going to be a crazy, intense session, but it was going to be like, this is a treat, man. I'm with Master Yod. He's the king. Trained George St. Pierre, helped him for a few of his fights. So that's incredible. And then you have, I think Brian Ebersol's out there right now.
Yeah, I think he became the new head coach to Evolve. So that's another good guy to have over there.
Totally. Brian's amazing. Fucking UFC legend. So you mentioned Evolve, which is awesome. You mentioned your training camps, but is there not another one in Costa Rica?
Yes, Costa Rica. And honestly, those might be my favorite because A, you're in Costa Rica, and B, it's not as intense. This is more of a vacation where we are training twice a day, but I'm leading the classes, so it's very technique oriented. It's not somewhat, we do conditioning and that kind of stuff, but it's not like banging the pads for 5 rounds and running 10K every day like it is Thailand.
Right.
And we're doing surf lessons. We're hiking to the waterfalls.
Cool.
Where we have like delicious food that is like they have a garden on site at the resort I stay at, and they literally take the food from the garden. And if you know anything about Costa Rica, they do everything very green and very natural. And so the food tastes unreal. Like compared to anywhere else in the world, the Costa Rican food and smoothies and juices are like as fresh as can be. And then, the people that you meet there are just are next level people too, because they're taking their vacation time to come spend training Muay Thai and doing the same kind of stuff that I love to do. So it's just only natural that we all get along, right? And as much as I thought the trips themselves would be awesome, like just going to Costa Rica or Thailand or Singapore, it's really the people that really make the retreats what they are. And if it wasn't for all these like-minded people setting aside time, setting aside money, and coming to these things, they wouldn't be nearly as rewarding. So I've met some really cool people, lifelong friends who've come to these retreats and training camps. And so that's why I plan on doing at least one retreat a year and one training camp a year. And I love it down there, man. And the owners of it's called Jungle's Edge, the resort I hold it. They're so cool, man. And they're super like surfer bro, like, and so we get along great. And yeah, it's only a 5-minute walk to the beach, and so yeah, you just can't go wrong, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's why I'm excited about the retreat that we've got coming in October, because we got 9 people so far, and I'm really excited because I've been here a million times, so I know, and I've brought people in the past and who've come back or who've been there. It's like, this is like the best time of my entire life. People who've traveled.
I love when people say that, man.
Yeah, like it's great because especially when you bring them to somewhere that you love and that you're like, okay, are they gonna like it? Are they gonna like the training that we do? Are they gonna like the people? And then 4 days in, they're just like, this is the best time of my life. I know that's gonna happen to all these people. Like, I know that's gonna happen, and these people just seem like they're really excited. And like you said, the fact that they've paid this money, that they're taking time to vacation with me, and to do the things that I like, the fitness side, plus just vacationing, is amazing. Like it's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have a good time doing it, man. And yeah, just the whole training with a bunch of other people who are like-minded like you, as passionate as you, and being able to show them like the area that of Thailand is just gonna be a super rewarding experience. I'm sure you're gonna want to do it over and over again.
For sure. Let's go to nutrition now, because you talked about the food that they ate in Costa Rica and how they make it. It's all green and it's clean, and I find the same thing in Thailand. Like, the food is nice and fresh and clean, and I always feel great. I don't ever have any inflammation, or I'm always getting lean and ripped, and I love the food there. It tastes good, even the food on the side of the road. What's your nutrition like during your fight camps?
During my fight camp, honestly, my nutrition is pretty much the same all the way around.
Right.
The only thing that changes is as I get closer to the fight, I'll cut out some certain foods and limit my carb intake a little bit more. But more or less, I eat a pretty healthy diet just year round, whether I'm fighting or not. And so this way, I don't have to make too many changes. Mm-hmm. I just eat. I get asked this question a lot, like, well, what's your diet like? I'm like, it's not so much a diet as I just eat a lot of vegetables and smoothies, and I eat salads. Yeah, I eat salads for fun. It's crazy, right?
Yeah,
totally.
And
then I have a lot of lean meat, chicken, and when I eat the beef, I make sure it's like grass fed, and all the I get organic as much as I can, and I just try to be as conscious with my eating. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll order a pie of pizza every now and then and do all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to fight camp, I cut all that stuff out, and I'm pretty strict. And every once in a while, I'll have like a cheat meal or something if my weight is okay. But for the most part, it's very strict. It's very oriented around the vegetables more than anything. The vegetables and the protein are like the most important things, and then the carbs will be pretty natural carbs, like sweet potatoes or like mashed potatoes, or just like good grains like quinoa or wild rice pilaf and that kind of stuff. But yeah, more or less is what I eat year round though, so there's not much changes. I just cut the calories about in half to like 2/3 once I get closer to weigh-ins.
Yeah, I like how you said it's year round, because that's gonna help you. That's gonna help you with your recovery. It's gonna help you with your training. It's gonna help you with your weight. It's gonna help you with mind.
Well, there's no seasons to fighting. Year round fighting is a year round sport, and so the whole saying like be ready to fight whenever, wherever. Yes. Like you never know when an opportunity is going to come up. So I'm always trying to stay in shape. And like we were talking about before, which is the physical fitness side, like I'm always working out. I'm always eating healthy. So like I'm always in good shape. It's just a matter when I take a fight, I just ramp it up. I just take it to the next level a little bit. But I think it's really important to have that baseline. Otherwise, ramping it up is going to take a lot longer. And you're going to have to make a lot of different adjustments that just make it that much more difficult to actually do it. So if you're living a healthy, active lifestyle already, everything else is just kind of easy.
Totally. And the nutrition is key. I mean, I tell people, even like you said, even if you never fight, if you're just training because you love the sport, your nutrition has to be, centered around, vegetables and proteins and the carbs around your eating. And yeah, once in a while, not meaning every week, but once in, every 2 weeks or whatever, you want to indulge in a meal for sure. But you've got to get that healthy lifestyle where yeah, I eat salads too for fun. I love, it's just the protein and salads or, whatever. It's funny you said about always kind of being in fight shape because my philosophy, well, my goal for the longest time when I was in fitness was to be like if Men's Fitness called me. They're never going to call me, but if they called me today...
Don't say that, dude. You'll be on the cover soon enough, man.
we want you to be on the cover of a magazine. I want it to be like in 7 days, I could easily be in the cover of a magazine. That's kind of like where I want my body always to be. So always training, always keep my nutrition on point. And funny enough, like 7 days ago, I got a call from another magazine who said, we want you to be on the cover of this magazine. And so the last 7 days, I've been like, I'm 2 days out from the photo shoot. And it's been an easier, like I was already almost there, and now it's just been, I mean, it sucks, dieting sucks, having to carb deload and then carb load and water deload and all that shit so that you look good, which is what I'm going through right now. But the fact that I'm able to say to that magazine, yes, I can do this. Like the opportunities there. Why? Because I live a healthy life already. You know what I mean? I'm always training. I'm always making sure that I'm eating clean. Sure, once in a while I'll indulge in, hamburgers and fries or whatever it is. It's nothing too crazy, but having that philosophy in my mind, like having that as one of my principles, even if it never happens, if I live that way, I'm living healthier, especially at 48 years old. Like, I'm always needing to continue to prolong my aging, right? Like I just want to stay young, look young, feel young, and that's nutrition is going to be the key.
Yeah, I think a lot of people overlook it, and the whole idea of be ready so you don't have to get ready, know, and especially like as you're getting older too, it's so important to be able to put the right things into your body because you feel a difference with your energy levels, with your moods, if you're eating shit compared to if you're eating healthy. Totally. And I think as long as you're able to kind of put things in perspective and like I think conscious eating is like the most important thing because if you're eating consciously, if you're like actually focused on what you're putting into your body, you'll much more likely put the good stuff in your body as opposed to the bad stuff because you're aware of what's going to do to you, how it's going to make you feel. And so yeah, like this is a little off topic, but yoga and meditation has played a huge role in my life, not just my fighting and everything, but it's given me more awareness of my surroundings, more awareness of my own thoughts, and it's helped me be a little bit more conscious about what I'm doing in my day-to-day life, especially when it comes to eating. So
not only that, but mobility, the flexibility, like apart from
everything, man, everything.
Like you got the mental side, the emotional, spiritual side, but then you also have the physical side. I'm glad you went there because, is yoga? You still do yoga every week? Is it weekly? Is it bi-weekly? What is it?
Yeah, usually I do it at least once a week. I try to do it a little bit more than that, but I find it's been such a key factor in in my happiness, in my balance, and my mentality. And when a lot of people, when they think of yoga, is like, oh, it's going to help me with my flexibility. Yeah. Yes, definitely will. But the number one thing that has helped me with is definitely my mind state because when you're fighting in front of thousands of people on national Thai TV or lion fight promotion, a lot of shit's going on in your mind. And it's really easy to get kind of distracted by the cameras, by the show, and just by the grandness of everything. But with yoga, I'm always able to go back to my breathing and be conscious of what my inner dialogue is. So this way I'm able to control it a little bit more. And then in the context of a fight, I'm able to control my breathing between rounds, control my thoughts between rounds. So I'm able to kind of recalibrate and reorganize what I'm doing, re-game plan what I'm doing, and take it from there. So as much as it helps with my flexibility, my mobility, my balance, my core strength, I think my breathing and mental awareness has been impacted the most when it comes to doing yoga. It's the whole yin yang thing, man. Like Muay Thai, I get to beat people up, and yoga, I get to like chill out and zen out.
Totally, I like that. I'm gonna implement yoga, and I just shot a video actually with a yogini.
I saw that.
Yeah, a nice hip opener. We're getting a lot of people. She used to work for the UFC, so she has access to every UFC fighter on the planet. And nice. So before we shot this, she was reaching out to fighters and trainers, and there's like, oh yeah, something for hips, something for shoulders, something for hamstrings, something for everything. Like, and Joe Rogan talks a lot about yoga, which has started to open up, guys, embracing yoga more. Fighters, I'm going to say fighters because.
Well, I definitely agree with Joe Rogan because he's super flexible. Have you seen any of his stretches? He's crazy flexible, dude.
Jesus.
And so, like, before he even did yoga, he must have been flexible because he can have his straddle position on the floor, where your legs are completely out, and bring his forehead to the ground. I can't even break parallel or perpendicular position. It's just it's crazy.
I was gonna say I can't even get into that position, like the actual just spreading my legs out.
That's a struggle, man. I know how you feel, and he's able to go all the way full forward. But I think fighters should just there's a little bit of a taboo, like a hippy dippity kind of thing to yoga, and there'll be some yoga classes that are super like. But there's also like good parts to it too, and I think if you go into it with an open mind, you'll come out from it with a whole new just array of skills and awareness and stuff that's going to help you not just with fighting but with life too. And so I'm a big proponent of yoga, and my girlfriend's a yoga teacher. Perfect. And she's doing some yoga videos for me too, doing some like fighter hip openers and that kind of shit. And you realize how important it is. And when fighters reach out to me and like, yo, what kind of stretching should I do? I'm like, yo, just do yoga. Just do yoga and you'll be fine.
Totally. That's awesome, man. I love this. This was a great conversation. I love it. We learned a lot about where you've come from and what you're doing. What are your goals for Muay Thai Guy? I know that you're fighting next year. That's kind of the goal. But what is your goal for Nak Muay Nation?
I just want to grow it, man. I want to spread the sport. I want it to be as big as MMA, if not bigger. Right. And I know it has a long way to go. And a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want it to get that big because then it's not like underground or cool.
Right.
I'm like, well, fuck that, because you don't know, the fighters don't get paid unless they are bigger. And so all the elitists and people are like, yo, no, I like when Muay Thai is like a small sport. They don't understand the struggle of what fighters go through in order to make a living fighting. If the sport got to the level of MMA, then fighters can make a living fighting. They can get sponsors. They can do all this kind of stuff, and there's more economy in the sport. And so I want to help grow the sport so there's more opportunities for fighters to fight full time. And so this way the sport and the skill level of the sport is going to grow because people are able to dedicate themselves to it more. And so, with Nak Muay Nation, Muay Thai Guy, I'm spreading the gospel of Muay Thai, man. Yes. That's all I'm doing.
Love it, man. I love every second of that. I think that's incredible, and I love the fact that I think Muay Thai maybe I may not even be right about this, probably not, but I think it's going to be an Olympic test sport.
It's in the provisional stage right now.
Stage.
Yeah, right now there's the IFMAs, which are essentially the Olympics of Muay Thai before their Olympics. But oh my God, there's a big spider crawling on my I'm so scared. Anyway,
you are scared of spiders because I saw that video.
I fucking hate spiders so much. Big bad bald tattooed bearded guy who can't deal with spiders and shit. IFMAs. We have some U.S. representatives going to. So there's a, I forgot what it's called, but there's a 4-year tournament, essentially like the Olympics, where people from all over the world go and compete in the top levels of Muay Thai. Yeah. And so the fact is that like it's already happening. It's just not quote unquote the Olympics, So as I think once the Olympics kind of see how beautiful the sport is and how organized everything is, it's just a matter of time. So hopefully that does happen sometime in the future.
Yeah, that'll be amazing. That'll be absolutely amazing. Open up a lot of opportunities for fighters and coaches and gym owners and everyone else. When you have this as an Olympic sport, the economy of Muay Thai begins to open up a little bit more. More people take it seriously because now they have a chance to shine throughout the world, win an Olympic medal, represent their country. So I think
exactly. Yeah, I just think it's a beautiful thing. Just being able to represent the country. And actually, on my last podcast, I just interviewed one of the U.S. coaches, and he was talking about how like all the other countries are like so into it, and U.S. is just like kind of getting into it. And same with Canada. We're just like we're newbies to this kind of stuff.
Totally.
Where all the other sports or all other countries, they're paying their winners to win a gold medal. They're like giving them like opportunities where the U.S. they're not even paying for them to go to do it or compete.
There's a girl that I sponsor. She had to.
Candace, right?
Yeah, she freaking still has to pay. Canada didn't pay her way. She still has to pay Canada money.
Yeah, it's crazy because they don't understand like the.
And she's one of the best.
I know, yeah, and she's awesome, dude.
Yes,
she's an older woman who quit her job and pursued it full time, and she's fucking killing it, dude. It's awesome,
unbelievable. I sent her off to Phuket top team, and she packed everything and went and fucking like had to endure and training in a male dominated gym and sport and winning fighting on the Queen's Cup or King's birthday. I think she won and world champion and winning a belt, and she's amazing. Now she's at CSA training to fight in either Lion Fight or Glory or Bellator, one of them.
Badass, man. That's
incredible.
So cool.
It's an incredible journey. Like I'm gonna get her on this show because her journey needs to be told. It's insane. You need to get her on your show too.
Yeah, I should actually. Now that I think of it, because my buddy Paul actually did a whole segment on her because he ended up training with her. I think at Phuket Top Team.
Yes.
And he made a Limitless Life video of her, and
cool.
Just hearing her story and how she just pretty much quit everything and jumped in full on. I think that's the key. Like we were talking about earlier in the podcast. You just need to decide, this is what I'm doing, and I'm gonna make it happen one way or another. Totally. And once you make that decision, everything else just goes in the background, and your main focus is just that one focus. And so she's a great example for that.
And just on a side note before we end off, just the one thing that bothers me about what she did, but when she came back home to Toronto, this girl was away. She won championships, fought on the King's birthday, won belts, highest of the highest, fought, one of the world's best, and people are like, "Oh, you're so lucky!" You just
shut
so
the
lucky.
fuck up!
Are you
Smack
kidding
them,
me? Lucky? What the fuck are you talking about? What? Lucky?
I earned that luck. I worked for that luck.
Oh man, it's brutal. It's just, but it's because she comes home from all this amazingness that people, her friends, in quotes, are following, and of course, misery loves company. They're jealous. Why can't I be doing what Candace did? Why can't I have that? Oh, she must just be lucky. There's no way that she's working extremely hard. She sacrificed everything.
They don't even think about that.
No,
that doesn't even cross their mind.
No, nothing. How could
she was handed this, and she just is naturally gifted athlete who
totally
fighter, It's that's why I love podcasts and I love video features of people who are doing these kind of things, because it shines a light on what they're actually doing. Because you see them in the spotlight when they fight, but you don't see the weeks and weeks and months and years before that of how hard they've been working.
Totally.
The nights that they're training where their other friends are out partying. The family social events that they end up missing, and just the amount of sacrifice you need to put in to be a successful fighter or successful pretty much in anything. Is insane. And a lot of people who are mediocre or average at life, they don't understand that, or like I said, it doesn't even cross their mind that they need to make these sacrifices or work this hard, because it just happens. Some people are just lucky and it's just able to have it that way, and
which is
it's so stupid, it's so limiting thinking that way.
This has been awesome, man. Where can people reach you? Give us your plugs, your everything,
all that good stuff. Just Google Muay Thai Guy. That's all you got to do. And you can also go to knockmoynation.com. I have MuayThaiVacations.com for all my events and retreats around the world. And you can also find me on Facebook. Friend request me on Facebook, or like Muay Thai Guy on Facebook. But like I said, probably the easiest way is just to Google Muay Thai Guy, and then everything else will be right there. I love that, man. Thank you so much. This has been amazing. I loved everything I learned. Loved everything about the strength and conditioning, just the retreats. This has been awesome, man. Thank you so much for being the first on this show. Well,
amazing.
thanks for considering me to be the first on the show. And dude, I love what you're doing, and keep with this podcast because if there's one thing that the podcast has done for me, it's really opened up new doors to meeting new people, just interacting with new people. And it's also just such a more intimate environment to be communicating on. And so I think your fans will love it. I know I'll be listening in too. So yeah, man, keep hustling hard and doing your thing.
Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. And thank you, guys. I'll have all the links for Sean in the on the page. The Muay Thai Guy. Follow him, live him, love him, and get to his retreats. Thanks a lot, Sean.
Boom.
See you.